All right, you guys. Yeah, in the process of trying to get back to where I was from the last video, it freaking totally went away. It stopped recording. So here we are. We're back downstairs, and like I said, I was going to show you how I'm going to tie it in over here. So I went ahead, like I said, stripped off the insulation on the end. Here's the new wire right there. And here's a couple of tips for you. So whenever you're going to install wire, especially on any kind of switch or receptacle, you want to make the loop like this to where the end ends up being on the right, so that when I install it on this screw that has power, it's going to hook right there. But when you tighten the screw, the action of the tightening is going to suck this little end in to make it tighter so it doesn't back off. All right, I went ahead and tied in my ground for the new switch right there, and I also tied in the neutrals. And with those, I'm going to be using the red cap, which can fit, I think, up to four, either 4 14s or 3 12s gauge wire. And right here, I have 2 12s and a 14. This one, the same thing, 2 12s and a 14. So it's going to be more than sufficient to take care of that. All right. So basically, you just put that in there, and these have the little wings. That's for your, for your fingers, so that it can you can get that nice grip and torque on this, right? So you just keep twisting it on there until it feels very tight, and you and until you see the wires start to twist, then you know it's locked in pretty good. All right. So same thing for the ground right there. Now I probably could have gotten away with using a yellow cap, uh, like this one, but this one is only good for, I think, like three 14s, and then and lower, like 4 16s, up to that many. But like I said, this red one is gonna work pretty good. It's gonna hold it nice and snug and tight in there. And so, like I was saying before, how I cut this hole out smaller than the box, because I'm not going to actually use the box next to this one, which it's an okay method. Preferably, you want to put a second box over there if you can. But I'm going to do it this way for now, to see how it stays when it's all locked in and secure. And if not, then I can always make this bigger and then attach a second box, and they have these little clips that you can put on the box. Because the old work boxes, they used to come blue, and they had ears that when you screwed it, and it would flip up, and then it would come up against the sheetrock, and that was what would hold it in place. But the new ones are different. But I'm going to use a different method later, possibly. So, like I said, this is the only thing left to tie in. Right now, the power is on because the light behind me is on. Otherwise, I wouldn't have had enough lighting. It didn't want to focus on this without the lighting in the background. So, like I said, I tie that in. It's hot on both sides. And let me get my trusty little tool right here that checks for power. This little guy, Klein Tools. Not a sponsor. But anyway, like I said, turn it on. The green light comes on, and you just touch it you touch the tip right there to any wire, and it'll tell you if it's hot or, like, see right there? It's hot. That's hot. Or you can just touch it on the screw, even. It's very sensitive. And right there is hot. So if I turn it off, see the bottom is no longer hot because the power is still up here. So I turn it back on. So yes, I am working on a live circuit, so please do not do this if you don't feel comfortable. Have somebody else do it, or go to the breaker panel, find the breaker that controls this room, and go ahead and shut it off. But I've been doing this for a long time, like I said, and the trick is never touch the hot or the neutral, hot or ground, at the same time, like with the same hand. The trick is always to, stay away from those two, and you won't get, zapped. But for safety reasons, like I said, you do it the way I told you. Go to the panel, shut off the breaker, come back, make your connections, and then continue on. Also, just to show you at the box, after I put the wire through, right there, came through, and I clamped it down with the clamp. See, this is one on this side, one on that side right there. So screwed it in, clamped it down, and left my pieces hanging off. Right now, they're not, what do you call it? I haven't pulled the insulation back on either one, because that's going to be for the fan hookup later. All right. So when this is hooked up, the switch that's going to control that up there is going to be in the off position anyway, so there'll be no power up there. All right. So let me go ahead and connect the switch, and I'll show you the next step. All right, guys, I forgot to mention. So for this application, you're going to have to put a jumper that's going to go from the power source, which is right here, to the the new switch, which is right here. So basically, here's my jumper right there. This wire right there. Same thing. I made a loop going to the right, the little tail on the top, so that when I put on this screw, it's going to cinch down and it's going to be nice and torqued. And so power coming in here on the bottom, turn on the switch, and then it goes out on the new wire to the fixture. Okay, so that's how it needs to be hooked up. Alright, so like I said, I already had made my connection on this one right there. There's incoming, outgoing. Here's my, what do you call it? My connecting, my splice jumper wire right there to the source where it's still hot. So now, as you can see, that's how I connected it to this one. And this switch casing is not grounded to the box because it doesn't come with the additional ground screw like this one. So later on, I might want to go ahead and switch out this one to the new style switch, just because it doesn't have a ground, so it can have a ground. But so I've tucked the neutral and the ground into this box right here. So now I just got to push these two back in the hole and then mount the cover plate. And like I said, this is still live, so for you guys, if you're gonna do it the way I told you before, so yeah, you're not causing a situation where you might get shocked. All right, so let me tuck those in and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, guys, there it is. Original switch right there. Here's the new switch. As you can see, everything is tied in. I'll go ahead and turn on the light behind me. You can see there's the light on, controlled by the first switch like normal, and then second switch that's going to provide power to the box. Go ahead and turn on my little trusty tool, so you can see that I don't have any power right now up here on the black. Okay, you'll never have power on the neutral because that's the return. And of course, there's my ground. All right, so no power there. And go ahead and turn on the switch. Okay, you can see the switch is in the up position, which is on. And then we'll check for power right here. And you can see that I have power over there. Okay, so now I can leave this in the off position, and when I'm ready to install the fan, I won't have any power here. It'll be safe to work on. Okay, so like I said, that's one way to do it without having to go to the breaker and turning the power off. But like I said, and it's best to always work with one hand if you can, and if you're working with both hands, then at least the hand that you're going to use to hold on, wear a pair of gloves with maybe the rubber tips. That helps insulate, just in case your hand slips and it touched the ground. you know, so you'll be safe. But as always, guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys on the next video where I show you how to install a fan with a remote switch. Okay, so as always, thanks again. Please rate, comment, subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so, and I'll catch you on the next video. And don't forget to hit the bell notification for new and upcoming videos when I post them. Thanks. Take care.